Welcome to my toughest challenge on Football Manager yet. I'm rebuilding Mainz from the ground up, with one goal in mind: to conquer the Bundesliga, win the Pokal, and claim the UEFA Champions League. Right now, Mainz are enjoying a decent season, but they're still fighting for real relevance in Germany's top flight. But it wasn't always this way. Did you know they were once a surprise package in the Bundesliga, finishing in the top half multiple times? This rebuild isn't going to be easy. It will take years of strategic decisions, player development, and some serious blood, sweat, and let's face it, big transfer budgets. Let's try and make this happen. Hopefully you enjoy the long form rebuilds, because it's going to be one. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let's get into it. So then, this is going to be it. You enjoy the long form rebuilds, I hope, because we have got a tough one on our hands today. They're a team with 3.5-star reputation, training, and youth, or the training actually 4 stars. The owners, they love the club. The bank balance is semi-okay. Now, despite me talking a little bit positively about Mainz, and fair game, they're having a great season this year, they are still yet to win a big trophy. Now, obviously, club background, you can get a little bit of history, founded in 1905, so the history's there. They've been about for a long time, but I'm here today to turn them into the real German giants. Now, this year, a big part of their success has been down to Henriksen, their manager. Now, I am using my tactic recreation of him, so at any part of this video you want to get all of these perks and this tactic and my rebuild files, there currently is a 20% off Patreon signups using code JD20. So make sure you go on over and get involved, because there's over 200 tactics, 60 rebuild files, one-on-one tactical help, and also ad-free viewing. And if that's not enough, you've still got time for the £800 PayPal giveaway. So make sure you head on over. But with this team, the aim is to win the Champions League. Now, we've got some fan favourites, okay? We've got some fan favourites in here. The likes of Viper, a player, loads of people like this guy, okay? I've been recently doing a load of TikToks asking people their favourite players, and a lot of people really like this guy. So I will give him a chance for the first entry couple of seasons, see how he develops, see what he does. If he doesn't do the business, he will be sold. Now, when we look at this team on paper, I'm looking at a team that can probably get European football, potentially in Season 1. And what I have done is I've gone through the squad, offered new contracts to people that I see are the future of this club, that I want them to be a future of this club, and that I think can help us to achieve the Champions League, whether that be being in the Champions League final or pushing us to get there. So we are going to keep that in mind. Now, the only player, or the 2 players in this entire lineup that are loanees, is the likes of Jens, who I really want to keep because I've used him before in a Salzburg save, and he is absolutely ridiculous. So I'd love to bring him in if we've got the money to do so, and if he performs well in that first season. And of course, the other player is Sieb, who I have very limited knowledge on and probably will not sign unless he has one of the most shocking, outrageous, and impressive seasons I've ever seen from a Bundesliga striker. Alongside of that, we've got other talent in the team, such as Widmer, a great player. We've got Lee Jae-sung, do not want to butcher that, a very good player as well. And looking at this team on paper, I do believe European football is obtainable in that first season. I've also gone over to the staff and made sure that everyone's super happy, given them new contracts, and also there's areas we might go and, for example, get a sports scientist and also some performance analysts, because I'm aware how big this challenge is going to be. I'm not disputing that. It's going to be a big one. Now, Season 1, we are playing in 2 competitions. So, in terms of getting a hot start in the Bundesliga, this is probably the right season to do it, because it's pretty much our only focus. Now, we are going to be predicted a finish of actually 13th place, so anything on that is a big overachievement, and I do believe with this tactic and this system, we can go and get the job done. So let's start one of what is going to be many seasons, and just see what we can do. So this I really don't hate. I do hate the fact we have lost it, because Hanover are a very beatable team, but the fact we have had one sort of opportunity at the Pokal and we have got right to the final says that we are sort of a pre-built team that can compete in this cup at least, which of course is one of the tick boxes we need to check off. Now, we do actually beat the likes of Dortmund to actually earn the place in that final, and also Bayer Leverkusen, so incredibly annoying that we don't win, as we also beat RB Leipzig. Did we beat Bayern as well at any point? We didn't. Okay, I'm making sure just in case we didn't. So we have beaten Leipzig, Dortmund and Leverkusen and still not won the Pokal. That's as unlucky as it gets, putting it like that. But where we do improve big time is actually getting where I predicted, in a European finish, which is big for a team like Mainz because it helps with the money, for example. A team which don't always give the most generous budgets. With 21 wins, 4 draws and just 9 losses, that is a remarkable season where we've got only 2 goals of actually going inside the top 4. Now, we can look at some of the players that obviously belong to us, and it is going to be this man, a player who I didn't even talk about too much, but looks incredible, Jonathan. He comes in for this season and he scores 21 goals and picks up 3 assists. A great time in the Bundesliga, a great season for him. We've also got the likes of Anthony coming in there with 13 assists, who is our left back, 26-year-old Frenchman, still got a bit of potential in him and just looks very well rounded for a left back and right back. Very versatile. So we have got some key performers in this team. Now, if we actually go over and look and sort of study what our strong points are, what our weaknesses are, we are actually not really got any. We are both pretty much tied. So that's not a bad thing when I say that. We're just consistent. So we're not outstanding at scoring. We're not outstanding at defensive work. 3rd and 4th best. So very, very much similar, which means that it becomes quite easy to strengthen the team going into the future window, because you know that you don't need to spend it all in one area. You can improve the entire team. And of course, that is going to be the aim, because now we are playing in another competition. You need better players, a bigger squad, a better candidates of players, really. So I'm hoping with the money we've got of 32 million, 36 million, we can hopefully go and sign some people. Now, debts and loans is next to none, so we are completely fine to go and spend this money. This is why the rebuild is going to be hard, because until you get really deep into the rebuild, you don't get big budgets. So we're going to have to sign smart and sign with a little bit of thought process, so we don't just go and blow our money on one big player. Now, one player that is going to be joining us permanently is going to be this lad right here. It's going to be Jens, because despite him coming in, and he only played 20, I say only, it's the majority of the games, he didn't score or get an assist, but he is a centre-back that I can obtain, and also is very, very good. I'm very happy with the front line, 21 and 6, 24 and 5, to the point where unless there's like a real good deal, I might consider not even signing another striker for the second season. Now, we have got this man coming back. Now, he's a decent Bundesliga player. He did have a season on, I believe, at, where was he? He was at Brest, and he scored 14 goals. So he is definitely worth at least considering. But again, we will consider it. He is 30. And at the end, sorry about that, he is 30. And at the end of the day, if there is a reasonable transfer offer that comes in, I might consider selling him. So let's get in to our first real transfer window. Yes, it's limited money, but I still think we can have an impact. Right then, so signing one is going to be Mortis Jens. He is going to come in, obviously, on loan last season, and he actually played less games, got a goal, and improved his average rating. So not as many games played, maybe an injury cropping in there, should I say. But I will say he has improved when he has played. So for me, it was a signing that made sense. And for a centre-back of this calibre that wants to be at the club, £8 million is not even a question. Gone with experience. From his time when I watched him at RB Leipzig, Leverkusen, Schlick is a very, very good pre-built Bundesliga striker. And I'm hoping he can carry me up to, you know, a top sort of 4 at least finish into the Bundesliga, because he has got the experience, and he scores 34 goals and picks up 4 assists, drops a 7.42. This guy is genuinely a typical Bundesliga man. He's been in here for so many years now, played for 3 different teams, including Mainz now, and I just think for the price tag of 16 million, you don't get much more of a risk-free guaranteed bagsman. Lastly, for 11.2 million, one incredible left-back is going to be Xavi Lopez, coming in, 15 pace, 14 acceleration, great crossing, decent tackling, just a really good attacking wing-back in this system. And he cost me 11 million. 7 assists, 1 player of the match, a great average rating as well. And the fun thing about this window, people, we stayed within the budget. We didn't overspend 36, basically out of £36 million. So we've not gone crazy. In terms of other business, there's nothing. Just to show you a nice reserved window, staying well within our budget. And we have brought in different positions to a very, very good level. The back line's received the most backing, left back, and obviously making a permanent centre-back signing. But also this striker, he's going to lead that front line. So our first opportunity in the Europa League, the first leg was fine. It was 3-3 against Lazio. Then they beat us 3-0 in that second leg. So we are going to fall out in the semi-finals, where we would have actually played, a team that I think potentially we could have beaten in that final. Now, talking of who we've beaten teams like Ludogorets. I mean, it's an easy game. Round of 16, Salzburg a bit tougher, but we beat them 4-0 as well. The league phase, we are going to finish in 6th place with 2 losses against Slavia Prague and Maccabi Haifa. So it does go to show, well, there were draws actually. The loss was against Nice. But even those draws coming in there feel like losses because it shows that we still are quite far off the ballpark in terms of being a top team. I say that, Ludogorets actually nearly went invincible, so fair play to them because they obviously overperformed like mad. But the positive is we are going up into 5th place now. The other thing, the 3rd round exit against Hertha wasn't ideal, but you can probably tell how quickly I'm going over it. That's not my focus at the moment. My focus is this Bundesliga and really cementing a place in the top 4. Now, we are only 2 points off doing it this season. It is your traditional top 4 you'd expect to be there. Bayern, Leipzig, Dortmund, Leverkusen, the classic top 4. And we just want to make our mark and really push to be in there. We have got the top goal scorer in the league. Shock horror, I knew that would be a great option, a great striker, a real player that I'm fond of. And also, Widmer is going to come in with 10 assists at right back, who unfortunately is getting older. He is 32. So really, it is going to be the Patrick Schick show this year. It genuinely is a great player, putting up loads of goals. And if you look at it from the bigger picture, semi-final in Europa League, this was a disappointment, yes, but we are doing well in the Bundesliga. We're showing our true colours, and it is nice to know that we can sort of hack playing in 3 competitions, considering we nearly got to the final of that Europa League. Now, in terms of tactics, in terms of players, in terms of future, let's go and look at this team then. So you can see right now, Patrick, 50 goal contributions. He is by far our best player, biggest name, biggest player in the team. 27-7 though, from Burkhardt. I believe that's how you say that. I'm going to say his first name, so I will butcher it. Jonathan and Patrick we're going to go with. We have then got the likes of 9-14 coming in from Lee Ji-sung. And apart from that, you can probably argue it's a little bit more on the quieter side. But you go down here, and all you need to do is just look, and you can see Viper coming in with 8 goals. Really handy another striker is doing that. 5 and 9 coming in for Casey. We've also got the likes of Widmer coming in with 3 and 13. And also Nebel down here with 2 goals. So they're not like electrifying numbers. They're not incredible numbers. But they are doing their job to a decent level. And I tell you what, considering we're just a couple of seasons in, the fact that we're already pushing to be like, look, I'm a top 4 team, it's really, really impressive. So although we've not won anything off the tick-off list yet, we are definitely getting there. So far, so good. The next window, a little less money, 25.8 million. So we're going to keep it quite reserved, quite humble, because at the end of the day, we're not going to sign many people with that. The debts and loans is even less now. So we could go and spend 25, maybe even spend 40 on installments. But I'm going to take it quite calm, unless there's like a serious player that comes out. Let's get into the next window. Right then, so an absolute bargain coming in, by the way, people. 5.5 million on Sambi Lokonga. Now, he's not like a world-class midfield player, but the guy is so well-rounded and just screams that he'd work in this system. As that box-to-box player, he has got the stats that I want to see for it for the price tag. Yes, there's areas I'd want him to be better in, but for a total of 5 million, he's done a great job, okay? He's not going to be, a world-class player for that price tag, but for now, these are exactly the players that I want. Just options in the team that will work hard and actually want to be here. Lastly, a bit of a luxury player, and actually the reason why we spent, I believe, about 900k over our total budget is Alan Velasco. He comes in, and he actually doesn't do too much in the games played. He does drop a good rating, which tells me that he was getting involved in the play. It's a big gamble bringing someone in from Argentinian leagues, and of course a little stint in America. It's a big gamble. It's a big step up, a big culture difference as well. But I do think he can get things ticking eventually. He's already a good Bundesliga player. He's only 23. And I mean, worst comes to worst, we can probably profit about 7 million on him. But genuinely, I'll allow him multiple seasons because I've used this guy before. Out wide, through the middle, he can get the job done. And honestly, for us, of course, it is going to be, in a mixture of positions now. But I do feel like he can be a big part of this project. I might be speaking utter nonsense, but for some reason, I believe in him. And I mean, whatever happened, it's worked because we are now only 3 points off actually winning the Bundesliga. Scrap being in the top 4, we're taking the fight to Bayern with 22 wins, 6 draws and only 6 losses. This is a real statement season with Patrick Schlick coming in with 28 goals. We've also got Jonathan coming in there, matching him in third place almost with the average rating. Really nice to see. Our goalkeeper, Robin, fourth most clean sheets. Beautiful to see again. And Jonathan also in the assist category. This is really nice to see. So it's our strikers and goalkeeper that are really, really performing well. And that's completely fine because not everyone's going to get in the stats just yet. We haven't got the team to do that just yet. But the fact we're taking this fight to Bayern this early on is absolutely sensational. Now, the rest of the competitions, they weren't amazing. They weren't horrific. So a quarter-final exit, but we do play Bayern. I'm not even going to be annoyed at that. And this one again, the Europa League quarterfinals, we lose on penalties against Villarreal. So not perfect, but also it's not our main focus. I want to win the Champions League. So yes, this would be amazing to have won, but now we're already in that Champions League. And if you're in it, you got a chance to win it. I'm not saying we will, but now we're in it, we can win it. And it's as simple as that. Now, looking at this schedule, okay, what I've noticed about this team is, like, we start off pretty ropey, okay? A win, draw, loss, win, loss. Then a really good run of form here. Really good run of form. We slow up in this sort of month here between January and February. That December break there, not really nice at all. And as you can see here, with this Villarreal game, it's really, really frustrating because, of course, we don't get past them. And I do think as a competition that although it wasn't one that I had to win, it would have been nice to win, you know? But you can't always get what you want in life, and that is what it is. So let's go over now to the tactics and see exactly what has been happening. So we'll put our best 11 in. Of course, every season I'm doing the traditional method that I have of going through the upcoming contract expiries, letting go of the players that I don't want, letting the players that I do want stay and extending their contracts. But looking at this right now, I mean, what I will say is the wing-backs, of course, apart from Vidma, who is doing really well, and actually Xavi Lopez, what am I talking about? 17, I thought it said 7 again. 17 assists is remarkable with 5 goals. Vidma as well with 2 and 7. It's actually a lot better than what I thought. That's a serious goal outlet. It really is. 2 and 4 for Fernandez and Miri 2 and 8. And I look at these two here, and I think maybe that's the area that I want to improve the most. I'll be honest with you, because through the middle, Velasco's been kicked out of the team because we've got Son coming in there with 22 goal contributions. This striker partnership is so unorthodox in terms of putting names together, but they're working so well. 8 and 4 for Bell as well. A real good time. Nebel, again, a player we've not talked about, coming in here with a decent return. 7 goals and scoring more goals than what he's actually playing games. So a good return there. And a player that we do want to talk about, sadly, is Alan Velasco, because as you can see, as we discussed, the 1 assist. Now, he played more games. He only got 1 more assist in the cup game. So not a great time for him this season. And don't get me wrong, I would be able to bail him out with excuses, but he suits the role very well. There is no excuse. He just can't get ahead of his competition. And I'm not a man that locks in players unless it's for like a wonder kid rebuild, or unless like they're like 17, 18 and they physically won't get game time. Velasco can go toe-to-toe with Ligier, and if he doesn't want to do it, that's on him. I'm here to build a team, not build a player. Simple as that. But going into the next season after a very, very positive sign, we've got a budget of 18, more than that, just about £21 million. So again, it's going to be an incredibly restrictive window, and you're going to see that a lot this rebuild. You might almost see us get through the seasons at a quicker rate because we're not really talking about transfers too much. So these entry seasons is about building up that money, building up the money, and not going too crazy, because the debts and loans, I want to say, is basically clear. That can go in second. So we're fine for that regard, and we just got to sign sensibly. Simple. Right then, signing number 1 is going to be a bit of a gamble because he's actually currently a Bundesliga 2 player, but he's got potential. It is going to be Shaquille Van Persie, of course, one of the Van Persie prodigy, shall we say. Now, we can go and see right now, he had a decent first season, okay? 11 goals, 8 assists is not half bad, considering he is not guaranteed a spot in this team. He clearly has dominated one of the strikers and got his place in that team. Now, when you look at him, I don't sugarcoat things and, you know, just hype up players for no reason. He doesn't look incredible in terms of, like, anything that stands out, but he does everything to a decent degree, and of course, he's got tons of potential. He is 20 years of age, so do you know what? For a price tag of 18 million, that price tag is now 6 million of doubling. I think that's a very good bit of business. 6.5 million, we are going to take a punt on a new goalkeeper coming in from Borussia Dortmund for 5.5 million. He didn't have the best season. He only keeps 8 clean sheets, but again, that could come down to the back line also not being like world class. So he is going to have a lot of shots against him. That is going to be Dinat. Now, he comes in as a goalkeeper that was actually a 4-star. So he has gone down a little bit. Confidence maybe a little bit in the gutter. But once again, we sign within our means. Now, we actually were a lot less than our budget was. We had 26, I believe. We spent 20. So this will slow down the quickness of the rebuild because we're not going and signing £80 million players. But for the first few seasons to get our feet in the league, etc., we are just signing within our transfer budgets. And I mean, looking back at the business so far, I think it's been very, very good business. That probably is still our best window, by the way. In fact, it is our best window. So we just got to keep ploughing away, improving. And hopefully we've done that this year. I said you've got to be in it to win it, and you do. Now, we got to the round of 16, so the big positive is we either did we get to the playoff rounds? We actually must have done quite well then. I will take that. A 7th place finish in the actual league phase. We are beating teams like Ajax, Liverpool. Really good results there. Points against Chelsea and the loss against PSG. That's fair enough. But we did get knocked out very early on. But the fact we're already doing quite well, automatically getting past this sort of, the knockoff playoff rounds, I'm going to take that for a first attempt. Of course, a chance to win the German Super Cup. Sadly, we're going to fall a little bit in that regard. FC Bayern beat us 2-1 on the day. The Pokal is probably the real stinger because we actually lose to a team who, I'm no disrespect to them in Hamburg, but they're 8th in the Bundesliga too, and they scored 4 past us to beat us 4-3. The league remains somewhat the same, okay? So I say somewhat the same. We have dropped 2 points on 2 places, but look at the points. It's 2 points different. So I'm not too angry about the position. It's more the fact that, we are now more points from first is what I'm more sort of worried about, opposed to the actual position where we finish, because I mean, look at this. We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 teams within 2 points of each other. That is how close this league is. So we could have fallen outside of the top 4, literally on goal difference, as what happened to us when we failed to get into the top 4. So I mean, the season is very, very close. What isn't close is this man. This guy is dominating the league for fun now. He has come in and minimum scored 23 goals since he's been here per season. 28 in that one. The guy was worth every single penny. An absolute steal. Genuine goal scorer who you can always turn to and will always get the job done. And for us, the only player, I believe, unless I'm being a bit blind, is the only player who's actually in the player stats. So that says how much we're probably, sadly, almost weighing on him. So again, as seasons go, disappointing. Very, very happy with that. Kind of annoying, but not the end of the world. And this, not satisfied, not annoyed. So a very neutral season. I guess no progression, which no one likes, right? So it's not great. But in terms of the team again, these are the players that I did lock in just because Velasco wasn't getting any game time. And I know I said I weren't going to do it, but I'm also sat here thinking, I spent some money on this guy. He needs to get some game time. And he does okay. Van Persie also done quite well. Because if you do this right now, they both get kicked out. So I want to make sure they at least get half a season locked in so they can compete. Because, of course, someone like Van Persie, who's a good Bundesliga 2 player, he will never get picked through the match engine. So we have to make sure he does get some game time. And he does score 15. Velasco scores 12. But this man here, Patrick, 39 and 6. Jonathan with 8 coming in there, 11 assists from Lopez, 14 for the right back, who Maween is a player who is 33, but still got the pace and the crossing. Our wing backs have been absolutely sublime this rebuild. They've been really, really strong. So I'm just hoping that we've got a bit of a better budget so we can carry on strengthening. Oh, wow. £17 million. So it's not ideal with no debt as well. So we've not been overspending. The budgets are really, really restricting. So let's get into the next window. But I think we'll be lucky. We'll be lucky to even bring in one. It's exactly what I have done because when Liam Delap is on the market, a 25-year-old local lad to me who's a leading Bundesliga striker and is just absolutely incredible. You've got to sign him. Now, he cost me a total of 13 million. He's returned 15 goals and 6 assists. Now, in this head of mine, I would love for him and Patrick to be up front because they're both brute forces. Delap's got more of the pace. But just look at him. He honestly reminds me a bit like Haaland. Not as good, but he's got pace, he's got physicality, dribbling, finishing, composure. He is honestly a really good striker, and I genuinely think he will tear up this league. Maybe the word tear up's not exactly accurate, but I tell you what, we are going to go back and claim third place, now only 7 points off the top, and Delap and Patrick are in the top goal scorers, which is lovely to see. Genuinely buzzing with that. We've also got another player down here in Amiri, who is our box-to-box, who is coming in and getting involved with the assists, but sadly he is 31, so whenever you see a player perform well and they're getting past 30s, you start to think, oh boy, I've got to say goodbye eventually, you know? Someone like Delap, who obviously is 20, how old is he again? He is 25. He has got years left in the tank. Patrick, 32, worry, and injured at the moment. 3 to 5 days, okay. But as it stands, Patrick's still with us, okay? We've still got him, and him and Delap are going to hopefully do the business, because them two up front, that must be a nightmare to defend. Real disappointment in the Pokal. A second round exit against Schalke, who at the moment still remain in the Bundesliga, but they're 12th. We should be beating them. Simple as that. Champions League, an improvement. We actually get up to the quarterfinals, so slow but steady progress. And although we lose here, who did we beat in the round of 16? Bayer Leverkusen, probably a team that we're used to playing, so it does make sense. We didn't make it out of the actual league phase, but we beat Inter Milan 5-0. So, yeah, very happy with that regard. Happy that we're back inside the top 3 and we're only 7 points off. It goes to show that Delap has had a big impact, probably more on the Bundesliga, adding that real bagsman into the team. And I imagine if we go and look right now, yeah, I mean, 21 and 11, Patrick still does outclass him with 31 and 8. It's really, really good stuff. If we actually filter by the best 11, they do remain in there. And I tell you what, Naween is retiring now. That's one less man. Big season from him last year. Xavi Lopez, 13 assists. Sandy Lakonga, 5 assists. He's doing his thing. Amiri, 5 and 11. Lee Jae-sung, 12 and 8. And again, though, I will say, where is he? Where is he? Is he down here? Where is Velasco? Velasco again coming in with 2 goals and that's it. And he is wanted by a Saudi team. And I'm considering it. I am considering it because he can compete with this lad here, but he's not doing it. I locked him in for a season to give him that chance to build up his sort of confidence and get him playing well, get in form, and he did, but now he's dropped off and I can't bail him out time and time again. So there is going to be changes being made, but I need the money to do that. And we've got the money to do that. This is more like it. £68.9 million to spend. Debts and loans completely zero. We're going to town. Run it up. So we are going to wave goodbye to our first player really that actually did get a move. That is going to be Sylvan Widmer. He is going to be going to Damak in the Saudi League, where he does leave on the free. So a £2.1 million loss if you look at it from a business point of view, but we got a fair share of use out of him. And we've spent big on one player, not just one, we've got more, don't worry, but we are going to welcome in Naipan. Now what I will say is, surprising we got him. He's played a ton of games, didn't really do too well in terms of what he put back into the team, but the average rating is there. So for an entry season at 22, I will allow it. He can become a leading Bundesliga player. And once again, if you played Football Manager, you know how big this is. £50 million, I'm going to sign another centre-back who is going to be a leading Bundesliga player and I believe cost me £15 million, played every game, dropped to 6.97. Again, not crazy with the goals being scored, but he's got the pace, the jumping, the stamina, the tackling, the determination. He's got everything really for a centre-back, and once again, can play in this wide centre-back system. And the real positive, he's still semi-young and German, great for the registration. It's a really good choice. And to partner that, we are also going to pick up another wide centre-back, Beraldo. 25, so a little bit older, not by much. He comes in, plays 33 games, 29 million, 1 assist, immaculate average rating. We have strengthened this back line tenfold. Simple as that. This guy, incredible. Previous centre-back, incredible. I'm expecting a much better performance at the back. On top of that, we also have a new goalkeeper. Now, this guy is costly, but not for us because we got him on the free. And he keeps 14 clean sheets, drops above a 7 average rating, and also stays fit for a lot of the games. Now, his value is a £56 million keeper. He's a leading goalkeeper, and he's 28, so As goalkeepers go, quite young. He can play till 32, 33 minimum and be completely fine. So even if he doesn't win us that Champions League that we desperately want to get, he can be a big part to why we get there and carry on developing this team. So welcome in, Marco. Player coming in from Liverpool, of course previously from Salzburg, is going to be Kiergaard. Now he comes in, a great player that I know will take to this league just like that. 17 goals, 6 assists, a great first season, 4 player of the matches, a great average rating, and he is still only 25. He is a leading Bundesliga player, and when you think of really good attacker midfield players, he is the man that I bring in. This does open up the door for Velasco to leave. No club wants him at the moment, but I'm not going to wait about when he's doing nothing. I'm not going to sit here and wait. Kiergaard can play. And lastly on the free, we are going to take a bit of a punt on a bit of a different style striker for backup, Alvaro Rodriguez. Now he plays 20 games, 5 goal contributions, so not as much as Delap and, for example, Patrick does for the club, but he's a different vibe. He's not really got the pace, but he's got more of the strength, more of the finishing, more of a target forward, as it says on the tin. So a bit of a different approach, someone that we can bring on, change the game style a little bit. So not a bad signing, and we come out of this with only £67 million spent, and we've welcomed in 6 players, 5 of them first team, 1 sort of backup, which obviously is Alvaro. It's a great window, it really is. So good, in fact, we got to another Pokal final, and again, a final that we could have beaten the team in there, realistically, FC Köln. We beat teams such as, okay, that's an easy leg, actually. We beat Kiel 4-0 in the semis. We are going to beat Leipzig 7-1 in the quarters. The third round, we're going to beat Paderborn. The second round, we are going to beat Wolfsburg. And the first round, we actually beat Sandhausen. So, I mean, we had a reasonably easy time to the final, but when we got there, we simply couldn't get the job done. Champions League, although it's a step back, we got to the quarters last year, it's still okay. Liverpool are still way above us in terms of squad quality, so round of 16 is probably what we can least, well, to be honest, we're doing quite well to get out of the league phase. Did we do it this year? No, we didn't, so I can't even say that. We must have beat a big team, though. We do beat young boys, okay. We can't really take much from that, can we? Because we scraped past the qualification, we got matched up against young boys, we beat them, and then our first real test against Liverpool, they do beat us 3-1. But, I mean, I don't know if I'm being too nice on myself, but I just feel like this isn't even realistic yet. Now, Bundesliga. Another third-place finish. It's getting repetitive now. The downside to this is no players in the top goal scorers. However, Delap is in there for the player of the matches. Our goalkeeper, second most clean sheets. 3 players in the average rating, Kiergaard, Lopez and Patrick. And Danny Da Costa is going to be here the first time in the assists. Of course, our very, very ancient right back, who will be retiring very shortly, I imagine. But the big disappointment here isn't the finish. It's the gap from first to third is increasing once again. It was decreasing, now increasing. And to be honest, that's all we can really pay attention to at the moment, because we're only really finishing third to fourth. Money-wise, going into that next window, we have got 31 million, which I will accept because we had quite a generous budget last season. The debts and loans is now 2.6 million. Again, practically pennies in today's football world, so I'm not worried about that the slightest. But with 30 million, we might be able to bring in maybe 1 to 2 players, but we've got players in this team now that I do want to sell, for example. So if we look at our start on 11, for example, it's really good, by the way. Kiergaard, Patrick and Delap. Patrick's going to stay until he needs to go, is what I will say. Delap's bagging goals. I mean, 29 from Patrick, 25 from Delap. Kiergaard, 27 goals, 10 assists. Xavi Lopez, 27 assists. Costa, who's a 35-year-old right back, 14 assists. Remarkable. These 2 midfield players are quite quiet, I'll be honest. Rodriguez, 11 and 4. Velasco, I want him to be sold. He's asking to leave, he can be sold. Casey potentially can be sold. Jonathan now potentially, if a better option comes along, can be sold. Naipan definitely not. Bell can be sold. Core can be sold. Yeah, there's a lot of people that we still need to sell. We've also got to keep a close eye on Van Persie, because now he's not being locked in. he's playing very limited games. Now, this is where it gets difficult because I want to sign these young players and maybe I'll lock them in next season. Probably when Schlick retires is when he'll really come in. But I'm debating, in fact, I'm going to do it. I'm going to actually send him to the under-19s, or the second team I should have done, so he can actually get a lot of game time because he needs to stay hot. But my point here being, long story short, we've got a lot of players that still need to be sold. So the project is far from over. And in fact, we haven't even won one of the trophies yet. So if you are enjoying, please do leave a like and subscribe. I love taking on these challenges, and I just hope you enjoy the long format videos because they are longer to make, but also when I see lovely comments about, oh, I like the long ones, you know, it makes me feel good and you get to enjoy it. It's a win-win situation. So let's cue the next window because although we've got limited money, it's some money. Right then, so we are going to be selling Anthony Casey. He is a player who obviously did actually have a really good season for us in this entry season here. But he's now 32. He gets a move to the UAE. And do you know what? He was brought in on the free, £3.1 million profit. He's been okay these past few years, but he's not going to win me a Champions League. This was not a decision made by me. It was a release clause that he demanded in the contract, and it is going to be Alvaro, who come in on the free, had pretty much one season with us, and instantly Frankfurt paid 20 million. So for business, brilliant. And we spend big. And I mean big. We spend a total of 48 million on Alan Abando, coming in 16 goals, 4 assists. He's a player that I've never signed, and this rebuild now goes here, or it could go here, because I've spent big on a striker that I'm banking to eventually replace Patrick in the upcoming years, because I don't think, to put it bluntly, I don't think Van Persie's going to be that guy. I do not like to admit it. I don't think he's going to be that guy to get the job done. This guy just looks incredible. He's quick, good finishing, good dribbling, good first touch, good off the ball work, good stamina, and he's pre-built. He's ready to go and also has potential. So I'm hoping the Ecuadorian can get the job done. On the free, we are going to welcome in a very, 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 very world-class midfield player in Williot Swedberg, coming in from Celta Vigo. He comes in on the free, as mentioned. Stellar first season. Cannot fault the guy at all. Valued at 77 million. One of the more well-rounded players we have in the team, who can play on the right, in the middle, attacker midfield, DM, model citizen. The list goes on. Another signing on the free is going to be Jorge Cuenca, coming in from Fulham. He comes in on the free. He plays a ton of games. This is more of a signing for the present. He is 30, and maybe again, similar to Alvaro, a bit of a business move. He has got a release clause in that contract, so if it gets popped, it's more profit for the club. We can invest in the future. But for now, he still offers so much. 15 acceleration, 16 pace, 15 tackling, 14 heading, 16 marking, 16 positioning. The guy's a powerhouse. And lastly, for 6.7 million, we are going to welcome in Noah Mikic. Now, he's going to be my right back. He's got 16 crossing. I can already picture the assist coming in one day for this guy. He's rapid, great agility, great stamina, good work rate, good concentration, 23, low wage, incredible talent, already a leading player. The guy's amazing. 17 assists in his first year. Can we just get a clap for him? This guy has had a great season, and that window is amazing. We've also loaned out a bunch of players that weren't getting game time just to try and either raise their value, to sell them, or to hopefully get them back into the team. But we've spent 52 million and brought in a world-class midfield player, world-class centre-back, upcoming right back who's had a great time, and hopefully a very, very good striker. I think that's business well done. Boy, it is, because we are going to be your Bundesliga winners. So we're still nowhere near done with the challenge. We still need to win the Pokal and the Champions League, but we have won the Bundesliga first. I was predicting the Pokal, Bundesliga, UCL, but however it comes, it will come, and we have done a great job here. The most clean sheets, 4 players in our team getting the best average rating. Beautiful. Xavi Lopez and our new right back, 29 assists from our left back, 17 from our right back. This tactic is nuts. Kiergaard, top goal scorer, very surprising in terms of like he almost shouldn't be doing that, but fair play to the guy. That is a stellar season. Better in the Pokal compared to obviously some of the seasons we've had, but still failing to make it to a final. And a big improvement in the Champions League, getting all the way to the semi-finals, where I'm not even going to have one bit of complaint because Madrid are the superior team. But the quarterfinals, we do manage to beat Barcelona by 4 goals. That's a statement. And the actual round of 16, we beat Fenerbahce by 3. So we can beat some of the bigger teams. But the main thing to take this year, we have won the Bundesliga, which is a real tough thing to do. And I'm so happy we've managed to do it. So do you know what? I am not going to feel any resent for not winning any of these trophies. We've come, we've conquered, and now we can focus purely on these 2 trophies. And I imagine we've got a bit of money to play with. There we go. You win the Bundesliga, here's 70 million. With the debts and loans being basically minuscule, we can go and spend almost 70 million pounds on building what now has to be a Champions League winning team. With lots of players leaving on loan, we can actually now get a real glimpse of Xavi Lopez. 42 assists in a season, 21 coming in there for Mikic. It is over 60 for our wingbacks. Go and get the tactic. It is nuts. 11 and 14 for Swedberg. Lee Jae-sung coming in 7 and 6. Kiergaard 50 and 13. 31 and 11 for Delap. Schlick coming in with 13 and 1. Sadly, a bit of a fall off now with Patrick. The age is creeping up with him, as Abando is going to come in with 30 and 10. So I feel like we are seeing the slow decline of Patrick, and I won't let him go down to the point where he's really doing bad. I'll let him go and enjoy his life, because I don't want to see a decline like that for a player that has meant so much to me. 5 and 1 coming in there for Jonathan as well. He needs to leave. That's a simple fact. Velasco needs to get out of my face also. Other than that, quite a reserve set of stats, but big numbers from the front 3 and wing backs. And it gives me confidence that potentially the wing backs and front 2 or front 3 could win me a Champions League one day. The backline maybe a bit more improvement potentially, and just general better backups all over the place. But again, we are still yet to get to a Champions League final, and as that sentence gets said, no one's 100% safe. No one's 100% safe, because there's always a better player that might want to join now. You never know. So let's cue the next season. I'm going to have 2 players leaving, and sadly it is going to be Patrick, but again, he was falling off a little bit. You can tell a very slow decline. He is going to get a move to the Saudi League, where he has a great time, and do you know what? I've got nothing but love for him. He has been such an influential striker. Thank you so much for being at the club. But sadly, it's time to move on. You're also going to wave goodbye to Olsen, a 34-year-old centre-back who is going to get a move to Fulham, who has a great time over there, decent average rating. But once again, we're now getting into the stage of the rebuild where we've got to be harsh to be fair. Signing 1 is going to be Kees Smit. He is going to come in from AZ, from the Dutch League, of course, for 28 million. A very well-rounded player. 29 appearances, 3 goals and 1 assist, which returns me a 6.96 average rating. And also gives me a 25-year-old Dutchman who is a good Bundesliga player with the potential to grow and just versatile. Very key word in the signing and the reasoning behind the signing. Just a very handy player to have. First real regen is going to be Marlon. Coming in from Union Berlin, the guy looks nuts. Now, he's not the quickest, but he has got 17 finishing, 17 composure, 17 dribbling, 16 first touch, 16 technique, and he's 23 years of age. He comes in for 16 million, 16 goals, 6 assists in his first season, and the guy is still what? Yeah, 23 as I mentioned. This guy is one for the future. I had to get him. And another regen, this is now where they start to come into play. Arnaut Sautor is going to come in, an incredible centre-back, guys. An incredible centre-back. He comes in for 21 million. He plays a ton of games, gets an assist, drops a fairly decent average rating. A 23-year-old Spaniard, a very good player. And I tell you what, this is now where we're going through the next phase of the rebuild. We're now into the regen phase where we can get them into the team. And oh boy, we are going to do that. Let me tell you. We also pick up one of the more determined people I potentially have seen. He just looks very good. The most agile left back I've seen. 16 acceleration, 20 agility. I mean, genuinely, the guy looks incredible. He's quick, got the stamina, got the work rate. The tackling's weak, but we can work with him on that. The crossing, the dribbling. He looks incredible, and he cost me, what, 5.5 million. Now, it's not the best season in terms of assists. I thought he would have put up more based off this and this, but he's 23. We've got to be fair. This is a window that is built for the future. Let me tell you that. But as we build for the future, it's time to focus on the present. We are going to have a game against FC Bayern in the German Super Cup, a trophy that was not needed to be part of this challenge, but we will take an own goal coming in there from Sasha Bowie to give us a 1-0 lead over FC Bayern. Unfortunately for them though, that goal sort of got to them a little bit, as we are going to go with Kiergaard and we are going to make it 2-0 inside of 40 minutes. It seems that this Bayern team really did not get... they're not feeling themselves today. This Bayern team are all over the place. Mikic, the star right back, into Kiergaard, who is going to make it 3-0. And this is hopefully a sign for the upcoming season. We are going to go and win and lead this game 4-0. A great ball through from Delap into a Bando. Beautiful finish. Although that wasn't the story, because we get hammered 6-1 in the Pokal semi-final against Bayern. Champions League, we're still around that sort of area of the round of 16. This time a 2-1 defeat to Liverpool, and we can't pull off a back-to-back title win. As you can see, of course, we won it last year. We are now several points off the top, despite having plays in almost every player stat category. We've got 3 in the average rating. We've got 3 in the top goal scorers. We've got a keeper in there. We've got a player in the assists, but it's a team game, and clearly other teams got the job done better. So it is a bit of a disappointing season because we stepped back a little bit in the Champions League and the league quite a fair bit, but we do win a trophy that we haven't won. Small positives, eh? Small positives. But going into that next window, it's going to be quite tight because we've got £18 million to spend, so quite restricted. The debts and loans have gone up right now. We're now paying this bank loan off, so a fair bit of money to sort of recover. But as the team, despite me saying it's been disappointing, the players have still done a decent job. But the big difference here is the likes of, the assists, for example. So Mikic with 14. We've now got the new left back coming in here. Xavi Lopez did play as well. He got 19. Last season he got 40 odd. So there is a bit of a drop off in performance, which is completely expected. You're not going to keep what we were doing on a consistent level. Even the strikers a little bit worse off. But it's nice to see the regen doing a great job with 25, the lap with 20, and on the bench you've got 6 from Abando, you've got Jonathan with 3, Shaquille with 6 as well, Velasco with 3. Can he leave me? He's asking to leave. Leave then. Please leave the team. But this team clearly is still quite a far bit off being a Champions League winning team. So let's waste no more time. Right into the next season. We've got a task here. Wow, wow, wow. You probably recognise this guy because he was literally here for a year. He did have a release clause and it gets popped in Arsenal. Now, Arsenal have him for 29 million. Not a fan of that at all. The other bit of business is going to be another outgoing on the free. It is going to be Ennis, who didn't really get much game time at all, and we brought no one in. Now, this was partly a decision made off giving the current players a real shot to establish themselves, but also just to not spend. So this is going to be one interesting season. And we're going to start off with the Pokal final. Now, this is a team that hopefully we can finally get the job done on. Wolfsburg are the weakest position we have played in a final, and that's a great start. The Wonder Kid regen up front, making it 1-0 inside of 5 minutes. We are then going to get a penalty inside of 55 minutes and just about score. Now, they do get a consolation goal in the 72nd minute of the game. But to be honest with you, they offered nothing all game apart from that. So, comfortable final. The Champions League remains the same. I'm getting a little bit bored of it right now. It is going to be a 5-1 defeat to Real Madrid over 2 legs. In terms of the league phase, we're not even making it into the top 8. We need work. For the Bundesliga, once again, we are not going to be champions. FC Bayern are going to reclaim that spot once again. And I tell you what, surprising again, because we've kept the most clean sheets. We've got a player in the top goal scorer. We've got Kiergaard, the second best performer by 0.2, just Musiala ahead of him. We've also got Delap in the player of the matches. We've got Smith in the most assists, joint second with Elise. We're putting up the performances individually, but it's all about coming together as a team. Now, the one positive to this season is we have now ticked off another trophy. The Pokal we've won the Bundesliga. So now, based off the video challenge, it's only the Champions League we need to win. But that's probably, definitely the hardest one to get done. So we might find ourselves winning another Bundesliga, another Pokal over the next few years. I don't know. But it's quite disappointing to see that we're not clicking that well. I mean, this is the issue here. 9 draws. Bayern, Leipzig, Frankfurt, Stuttgart, Hertha. We've got 4 games there where we're not scoring a goal. Not acceptable at all. Considering when you look at the team we have got some really, really top players in here. So, for example, you're now going to see Lopez come back in with 15 assists. You've got Mikic there coming in with 8. The numbers aren't as high, I will say. The numbers are definitely not as high. Even on the bench, they're not as high. So we're going through a very, very weird phase as a team right now. I feel like we almost hit our peak, and now we're losing confidence, if that makes sense. It feels really, really weird, but we have got a bigger budget this year of £85 million, and I always admit my mistakes. I think not signing anyone last year was a mistake. I think it's always important to bring people in. I just thought I'd give it a chance of like letting players have that guaranteed security, let them develop. But we seem to be doing better by constantly pressuring the players, making them perform. So yeah, we will go and spend, and hopefully we lose nobody else, because this is now at a really weird turn point in the rebuild. Oh, Arsenal are really, really messing me over today, aren't they? Because they are also going to take another wing-back of mine in Noah Mikic for 45 million, another man with a release clause. Yes, the money, the profit's amazing, but why would you want to sell him? I didn't. The board did. We are going to get a little bit of revenge on Arsenal, though, and sign a ridiculous centre-back who cost me a fair bit in 30 million. 2 goals, 4 assists, but the guy's remarkable. He is literally world-class at 24, with some stats, or one stat being in the 20. 17 tackling, 16 pace, 15 acceleration. I want to say the best centre-back I've ever signed in the rebuild. I'm quite confident in saying that, I think. Arsenal take 2, I take 2. We're also going to have one of their midfield players. He's going to come in for a total of 60 million, has a great first season, and we have really given Arsenal something that they took from us. 2 of their star players we're now having, and this guy is an absolute monster. 25 years of age, resolute, very well built. I mean, so many stats there in the yellow. You've got a real good midfield player on your hands, and with just these 2 signings alone, forgetting about the last one, we're going to improve. And just for 3 million, we go and sign a player from Partizan, another left back, 16 tackling, 16 acceleration, 16 pace. I mean, genuinely an incredible player. And like I said, 3 million, a decent return, but for 3 mil, you can't really go wrong regardless. Unfortunately, though, the league we still can't claim back, because it's going to be FC Bayern right now who are going to be the real pain in the backside, to be honest, to try and get past. Makoko is going to be the top goal scorer. Kiergaard's still being very consistent in that regard. Our goalkeeper Karneshi also going to be very, very good in that regard. Xavi Lopez, most assists. We're not struggling in terms of like individual performance. It's just about stringing everything together. We win another German Super Cup, 2-0. Again, not really needed, but it's a trophy. I guess we'll take it. And for the rest of the competitions, I'm not even going to go into them, because it's exactly what we've been seeing in the Champions League and the Pokal. We'll see what happened, but a 1-0 loss. We've won the Pokal. It's not really the aim of the game anymore. This is what I want to win, and also go back to winning this. But this right here is going to be the aim of the game. Now, in terms of actual team, we are noticing something right now. So the same patterns emerging, okay? The numbers have dropped significantly in terms of just like what the players are doing in terms of output. Now, Delap was scoring ridiculously more goals than this. Same as, I can't say his name, Brataguin, is how you say that. He was scoring several more goals. At the moment, we're going through this phase of scraping by, it feels like Kiergaard's still doing amazing. Xavi Lopez, don't get me wrong, 19 assists is great. But we've really stopped having those standout seasons when it comes to stats, and this is why I mean we've got to be careful, because we can quite easily get this far and fall back down, and we've got to prevent that from happening. Now, we have been given a big budget of £110 million to play with. We've still got a lot of net debt and transfer debt, but to be honest with you, we still need to spend money, because, for example, when I filter by my best 11, he cannot be at right back. No disrespect to Tom Grouse, but he cannot be at right back. There's other players as well that can't be in the team. The likes of Penazzola is a great player, but maybe not developed to the right amount just yet. There is still areas that need to be improved. The likes of Lopez, I love to bits, but he is 31 now. We will need a real good left back, and the question is, this guy, is he ready for that? I'm not entirely sure. So let's get into the next season and we'll go spend some more money. We've gone mental in this window. I'm going to say it, I've gone mental in this window. 2 players from RB Leipzig coming in. The first one is going to be Amin Keremans coming in for a grand total of 51 million, 33 games, 1 goal, 4 assists. This man is going to be another incredible young midfield player. We might be building an absolute domination station European giant team. The options we've got in that midfield now, it's ridiculous. Now, big gamble, and a gamble that hasn't paid off in the first year because he played 4 games and conceded 4 goals. That is going to be a keeper that cost me 40 million almost, coming from Leipzig. He looked incredible, but I tell you what, apart from the one positive being that the value's still being held and he's worth more, I think we've been ripped off there. From River Plate is going to be a bit more of an older player. 26 years of age and not a regen. He's going to come in for 31 million, 17 goal contributions in 29 games. Not too shabby right there. Just to add another option into that midfield. I'm still trying to get rid of Velasco. I cannot get rid of him. He literally will not leave me. Lastly, we have spent big. From Hoffenheim, Dennis Engel, a player who can play right back and centre back. For us, I imagine we'll be playing right back. He comes in for 61 million, although them stats tell me he's been playing centre back. 4 goals, 2 assists, 7.22, and that completes probably what should be, you know, I can't see us need another centre-back for some years. I mean, we have got some really good players right now, and it is a big window. Some instalments were used, but that has given us now 3 very, very good players and 1 player that hopefully can turn it around. But I'm hoping that can at least get us back on top of the Bundesliga. Yeah, it's done that exactly. A 6-point advantage over Dortmund. Bayern now down into 3rd place. This time, no top goal scorers. Our goalkeeper down in 3rd place. So we've not got players as much in the stat lines in the key positions, but we are winning more games. So very weird how this is sort of projected, this rebuild. But that is now going to be 2 league titles. As you can see, 1 there, 1 in 2029. So that's always nice to see. But of course, it's the Champions League I want. And another round of 16 exit, and we're now at a point where I've spent enough money and done enough sort of team bonding and building where I want to see more now, okay? So this is very frustrating. What isn't frustrating is another Pokal win on penalties over Frankfurt, and sadly, not a positive, but a loss to Bayern. You know, it is what it is, but the positive here is we're back on top in the Bundesliga. I'm winning the Pokal. Now, although I needed to win them once, okay? I get that. But the more we win, the more money we get. The more money we get, the better players we can get. The better players we've got, the better chance we have got at winning the Champions League. But we are now in season 11, I believe. Going into season 12, we've got a budget of very generous 103 million. We've got a team on paper that, I'm not even going to lie to you, is absolutely incredible, genuinely ridiculous, apart from the right back not really being sorted according to the game. So we might go inside another right back again, because the player that we did sign, which I believe was actually Engel, to play right back, is playing centre back. The back line here is ridiculous, okay? I still like this, what we've got going on here. Delap above 20 goals now, which is really good to see. Next to him, 18 as well. This is really, really impressive, but we still are a little bit off actually winning that Champions League. This centre-back, by the way, Bennett, 11 goals. Incredible. 10 assists from Lopez as well. 14 from Amiri, who's now retiring, so a little clap and a little goodbye from him. He is going to be retiring at the age of 37, and also a little clap for Nordin, who didn't do too much for us, but also is going to be retiring. So let's get into the next season, season 12, and see what we can do. Then signing number 1, we're going to go with another striker, and we're going crazy. We're going to sign Christopher Juin. Let me know how you say that, but he's going to come in, and this Chilean is an absolute monster. 24 goals and 11 assists. I believe we've won the Champions League this year, based off one man. This guy is an absolute joke. He has got it all going on. He's quick, agility's there, the stamina's there, the finishing, the composure, the dribbling, the crossing. The guy's only 24 years of age as well. We have now got a serious striker lineup. And go on then, we'll add in another midfield player. We may as well keep adding in these hidden gems, these upcoming players. A perfectionist Spaniard, 24 years of age, 26 million. He doesn't play a game. One for the future, we'll move on. So, Martinez. This is our right back. The issue, he's got 9 tackling. The positive, he has come in and got 19 assists. I have gone full Trent Alexander-Arnold vibes. I can't defend, but I can attack. And this guy can attack, and he has attacked, and he's done well. That is the thought process behind Aldo. And it clearly paid off because we win the league again. He's the top assister in the entire league. Penazzola, really nice to see him. Of course, a younger player that we signed back in the day. He has now come in the second most assists, joint with Jalrego and Reina. Carnesci still dominating the goalkeeper spot. Not good for the new goalkeeper we signed. 17 clean sheets. Liam Delap and Christopher, the top goal scorers. Incredible. 4 players in the average rating. That is a season to remember. We also lift the German Super Cup 3-2 over Borussia Dortmund. We go on to smash Freiburg 5-0 in the Pokal final. But sadly, it's going to be another season, guys, because another round of 16 exit, another exit against Barcelona. Barcelona, I'm going insane. Another round of 16 exit, and I tell you what, please tell me, okay, at least we're good in the league phase, because the team we've got now is incredible. A very, very good team. I mean, this team on paper can't do much more. You've got Martinez at right back with 33 assists. You've got Engel, who's playing left back. I don't think he played that all the time. You've got Lopez with 10 assists. You've got 12 goals from Bennett at centre back. 19 and 20 coming in from the shadow striker. 33 and 5 for Delap. You've got this new man here with 41 and 19. Penazzola 6 and 17. 7 and 10 for Swedberg. They can't do much more, this team. Money-wise, a massive, massive budget again. Let's just get into the next season. How are we not getting past the round of 16? Right then, sadly, it is going to be Liam Delap's time to leave. He's had a great time at the club. He's been here for so many years, and we nearly get our money back. But the right money come in, and I thought it was the right time to let him go. Alan Velasco does leave. It didn't work out. A big L signing from me. I will take the credit and own it as a man. Signing one, £101 million. Theo Collard is going to come in from Montpellier. It's 85 up front, 100 after the add-ons. He has come in and done decent. I think when you spend that sort of money, you expect incredible stuff. But 7 rating is completely fine. That completes the official, putting the stamp down, the best centre-back lineup we have ever done on this channel. £48 million, another centre-back and right-back. Stamped, better, more, incredible backline. Welcome in Imad Baulu, coming in from Marseille, 48 million, 31 games, 4 goals, 1 assist, 1 player of the match. A great player, 25 years of age, and again, if that doesn't cement an incredible backline, I don't know what does. We essentially have turned into Pep Guardiola as we spend 125 million on just defenders. We've also let a couple of players go here, several more players go out on loan, but the big statement being Velasco, Delap leaving, and 2 new defenders coming in. The question is, does improving that backline just a little bit more make you better in Europe? In Germany it does, because now we win the league by I think the most points we have ever done before, with Christopher being the second top goal scorer, 4 players in the average rating, Carnesci the 3rd most clean sheets, Paul Bennett and also Christopher. I mean, it's incredible to see. Aldo Martinez the most assists, of course, this player here who is utterly ridiculous, to be honest, a great right back. That's good to see now, because we have won it a few times back to back. Finally dominating Germany. Also lift that German Super Cup again, as you can see, 2-1 over FC Bayern. How we don't manage to win again is FC Köln just about get by us in the 3rd round. But that leaves the prestigious Champions League. I'm going to leave my camera on for the first time in a rebuild while we play a game and watch a game, because I am going to be giving it the large one, because we go 1-0 up here very early on, and look who we're playing. We're playing Barcelona, the team that I despise because of the amount of times they have done us over, and have some of that absolute shambles from Barcelona. A great start to the game for us until this happens, okay? Because we get off to a great start. I was like, okay, the lads will start to think, do you know what? Let's actually get this done. No. Gavi scores for them, and I'm not going to question it. It's a good header, but what are we doing to give them the ball back? It's shocking. And in the 77th minute, Yamal puts the ball in, and as for this, it's a great finish, but what is that goal? But, come on. We are going to be, I can't say it, but I'm going to say it. We're going to be your Champions League winners. A great ball in from Lopez, and Kiergaard gets it done. Have some of that, Barca. And it's done. It's complete. Season 13. We have done it. We have won the Bundesliga. We have won the Pokal. Not this season, but we've won the Pokal. The Champions League we've won. The Super Cup we've won. That is Mainz rebuilt. They're now a 5-star reputation. And I tell you what, right now, we can go and see this. Look at the arrow. It is incredible. So many trophies. Such a good job being done. If you're going to carry on the rebuild, you've got what? 94 million. The debts and loans are still a bit in there, but you don't need to sign players now for years. You've got so many top talented players that are all of a decent age, to be honest. And I mean, genuinely, I'm going to say it again. Make sure you go over to that Patreon, boys and girls. Get the tactic and the set pieces. 22 goals from the centre-back. 26 assists from the right-back. Engel with 19. It is such a good tactic and such a good rebuild file. Make sure you're going over and taking advantage of the discount code as well. That is JD20 for your first discount on your first month. Make sure you do take advantage, because why pay full price? You get 20% off for the same thing. It makes complete sense. But that is going to be Mainz rebuilt in a recording session of 1 hour and 18 minutes. So I don't know if we're going to get over to an hour after it's been edited down, but what a team. What the memories we've made. And this man here, what a player. And we'll say it, the best player I think we've ever seen in a rebuild. Paul Bennett. Let's leave a like for Paul Bennett. I'll see you in the next one.